Hello again. In this short talk, I'd like to share with you my understanding of what is the Good Samaritan. What does the Good Samaritan mean for me, the enclosed, contemplative, interfaith Franciscan? I know that as a Christian, Jesus tells us quite a lot about what a Samaritan is and how the Samaritans were despised by the Jewish people in his time. But today, I want us to bring some life to the meaning of the word Samaritan, Good Samaritan. There are lots of unsung heroes in our world today who don't make the headlines on CNN or the BBC. But they are God's heroes. They are God's unsung heroes. And very often they're working in the hellholes of the world. They're working in Hell's Kitchen in New York. They're working in Mumbai, Calcutta. They are working in the streets where abject poverty is enough to make you throw up. To be a Good Samaritan means to step out of your comfort zone and to reach out to brothers and sisters who are spiritually impoverished, who are hungry, and who are denied basic human compassion. And for me, I truly believe that we are a race that have alienated ourselves from a loving heart of God. We've become so indifferent, haven't we? In many ways, to many different groups of people. We're so judgmental. I know I was. Growing up, I had this mindset because I didn't know any different until I came out of the monastery into the real world and faced real issues, real hardships and struggles. And that's reality. And I feel today God is giving you and me another opportunity to endure a reality check, to look at how we come to God, how we approach His people who have no faith, how we approach each other who have got faith. And I would say this from my heart. It is not easy loving your enemy. It is not easy loving a brother or a sister who openly and blatantly defies you and tries to discredit you for daring to challenge them about their evil deeds, such as deceiving an elderly parent, which I have in my own family, where someone I love very dearly, someone I had to leave school at the age of 11 to look after and put on hold my own studies to bring love into this helpless child because our mother was very ill. And that little boy was like my own son. But that little boy now is a grown man who holds a position of great responsibility. And he has chosen a different path. And though his path is different to mine, I love him. But I'm finding it very hard to respect him when I see what he's doing to his elderly mother, where he and his wife are being deceitful on every level. And I find that really challenging. But that's not to say I don't hold him in prayer, because I do. And equally, I find it very disheartening when I see my brother Jews and my brother Palestinians tearing each other apart. Where is the Good Samaritan there? I would love the Teo community to grow with like-minded brothers and sisters from different faiths to come together And we could go as God's representatives, not to talk about God, not to defend God, but to go in as the beating heart of God like Mother Teresa did in Calcutta. She was a good Samaritan, wasn't she? She left her convent, where everything was provided for her, where she wanted for nothing. I know because I've lived that life. Because on a Monday morning as a young professed monk, when I was in Northern Ireland doing my psychiatry, on a Monday morning I noticed all the professed brothers queuing up for their weekly supply of cigarettes. And I'd stopped smoking, and I thought, hey, I want me 200 as well. So I started smoking, having stopped for 3 years, whilst in the novitiate. And I thought, I'm not doing without. How silly, how childish. But greed came into it, and when I went to visit some of my brother monks a few years ago, Jeannie Mac, I sat back and I thought, hello. I looked around their room or their cell, and they had all the latest gadgets, the iPod, the iPhone, their PC, and some had credit cards. And I thought, where's their vow of poverty? But that's judging, isn't it? And I merely want to share that as an observation. So where are we going with this recording? The Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritan for me is the person that reaches out of their comfort zone and embraces one who's truly hurting. Like the prostitutes who get such bad press for peddling their wares on street corners. And yet it's the ancient profession, it's an old profession. And yet we treat them really badly, don't we? I know in the United Kingdom we give them some bad press, and yet nobody has the courage to be a good Samaritan and say, let us stop this. Let us set up safe houses where we can care for them, where we can look after them, where we can protect them from the pimps, from being beaten and drugged, where we can make sure that they're properly monitored, where they have proper health screening. I'm not saying that we should legalize the profession, but again, had we have legalized the profession, then we wouldn't see so many beautiful young souls thrown into prison. So I think it's important that we stop this judgmental attitude that I'm better because I live a better life. In my life, I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of how we treat others like prostitutes, like drug users, how we label them. And you know, in prison, I met more honourable men than I have in Civvy Street. In Civvy Street, many white-collar workers hide behind their devious ploys with corrupt barristers, lawyers and solicitors. And they get away with their crime, as has happened in the recession with the bankers. So instead of being quick to judge, let us stop and let us ask ourselves, am I willing to be a good Samaritan today for God? Am I willing to go that extra mile and offer a little bit of human compassion? Am I willing to offer some time, which is a valuable commodity, in a world where people are rushing and going here, there and everywhere, but yet they're going nowhere? Am I willing, one who believes in a loving God, am I willing to stop and to reach out? I pray to God that I am, and I pray to God that you will join me in bringing a new understanding to what it is to be a good Samaritan. Let us unite as Samaritans for God. Let us reach out and make this world a better place, because it is a beautiful world. And the incident in the Gulf, because of the oil leak, let us unite and let us support Mother Earth. Let us bring back balance and harmony back into our hearts and into our lives. Let us become one again in truth. Bless you.